Who.
Hello, and welcome to Watch Who, a Doctor Who podcast. I'm Mark.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm a Doctor Who fan.
And I'm new to watching Who.
Yeah, watching for the very first time.
Very first time.
Yep, this is a podcast where we talk about Doctor Who, which is the TV programme.
Wow.
I just let people know that.
If you've been listening to us for a long time and still haven't sussed that out.
I thought I'd just try something different. It didn't work out. We are in season 8 of Doctor Who, which is a TV programme.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'll get with it in a second.
Okay.
Well, yeah, okay, that will go with, so we're busy again.
Yes, we are. September's awful.
That is the update. Not like Seeds of Death busy, where I had to record at work.
No.
But I feel like very close to that point.
Very close. It took us 20 minutes to sort out a week.
Like
going through diaries.
Yeah.
As in 20 minutes of talking, and then I turned the pressure, oh my God, we've just done 1 week. That took so long to plan.
I feel like I am getting to that Seeds of Death point, but it'll be fine. We'll just get through September, and then
September's
we'll be back.
not great, but then after that, we're fine.
Yeah. So
they say, like, wide-eyed, we're fine.
We're recording in person again, because we weren't going to, and then we did.
Yeah.
So that's good.
That was a surprise for you.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm going to you.
Yeah. And it's easier to edit when we're both together as well, to be honest. It's quicker.
Yeah.
So it was Terror of the Autons last week. Off to a good start.
Yeah.
We enjoyed that, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And it's Mind of Evil this week. So we watched 5 separately, and we've just watched episode 6 together.
Which was a surprise, because I thought it was 7 episodes, not 6.
Oh, well, a nice surprise, probably.
Surprise, yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of new to me in a way, this one. In fact, actually, season 8 is quite new to me. I have seen them, but maybe only once or twice.
Oh.
And I was thinking, because I say, my favourite stories and the ones, they always are the ones that I saw first or came out on video first back in the day. They're the ones that I have that
connection to. Yeah.
But, like I was saying, like Terror of the Autons I never had on video. This one is towards the end of the videos, so I didn't get them, and so I only watched this first time on DVD. So actually season 8 is fairly it's not one that I had as a child.
No.
Okay, interesting. You see what I mean? So coming into this, I probably wouldn't have been able to tell you like the full story. So there were some nice bits for me sort of going through like that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
That I just am not familiar with. So that was quite nice. We're still on Earth, and we have the Master back again.
Yeah.
Were you expecting him back so soon?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's stuck on Earth.
Yeah, I know, but there's other things on Earth, and
I don't know. I just felt like he's a good character. He was obviously stuck on Earth, and I did expect him back. I just did.
How are you feeling about Unit at the moment, and how?
Okay, I really like this season.
Okay, it's only the second story,
but so far I quite like it. I feel like Unit don't annoy me in the same way.
But are you just more familiar with them?
No, I don't know. Maybe. There's not as much like gunfighty shootout scenes. I think the Master is a really great addition because he's like a nemesis. Like it's almost like having another Doctor around in that way. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, it's
that
funny
really
because
helps.
I know he's only just come in, but he feels like part of their gang in a way.
He really does. Yeah.
Already.
Yeah. And I think actually Jo really helps because Jo's very kind and sympathetic. She reminds me a lot of Vicky, like Earth Vicky.
Okay.
In terms of the way her character is, because she's very kind and very thoughtful and caring and sensitive in that way. To the Doctor's not so sensitive.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll go to those.
Yeah.
But there's
So overall, I would say actually, I feel like with Jo being that more. Sorry, just going back. Liz wasn't. Liz and the Doctor could be sort of like, together.
What is that?
Like
they could be scientists together.
Yeah, and like team up together, and that worked really well. But actually, I feel like Jo really complements to the parts of the Doctor that we don't get. And I think at this point, I feel like Jo. I feel really settled with Jo. Actually,
that's interesting that it's so early on. Because last time you weren't that impressed. She was all right, wasn't she? And you thought the acting wasn't maybe amazing, but it's her first story. Maybe just finding the character a bit.
Yeah.
And I agreed with that. I know what Jo's like a bit later on.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's anything like she is in Terror of the Autons or in this. So for me, it's interesting watching in order, and I'll see that progression.
Yeah.
Because the Jo that I think of is, next is a couple of, later stories.
Yeah.
And I felt she was still a little bit... It was not the Jo in this one either.
I didn't think it was as bad as the last story.
I don't know why I keep picking up on the acting. I just thought, maybe it's some of the lines. Maybe... Okay, in this, though, you could swap Jo out and put Liz in as the medic, looking after the guy in the prison, liaising with the medical guy.
Not in the same way.
Well, Liz was head of personal relations or whatever in the Solarians,
Yeah.
and she looked after people and stuff. I could see Liz would do it in a different way, though.
Yeah.
Jo's like the caring.
She's a lot more sensitive.
Make it more sensitive, yeah.
Maybe.
And actually, Jo doesn't do as much in this. She's not.
No, she doesn't. But so maybe that's why she's not as noticeable for the good and the bad. But she didn't annoy me. Like the first episode, she didn't annoy me. That's bad.
She's not. No, I don't find her.
Some of the lines I was a bit like, ooh, in the first story. This one not as much.
Well. Okay, not as much, but I did feel like, it's a bit.
But I feel like this one, I got this side of Jo where I really felt like I get where she works in this with this dynamic. I really felt like I get how that works. I can see how that meshes, and she's a really good complement to the Doctor in that way.
They are already a team now.
Yes.
Very quickly.
Very quick. Like, it's a really safe team in those two. Where and also I said to you just before we came down actually to record, I really like in this season the Doctor and the Brigadier's relationship, because there's a respect, but it's almost like a really old married couple.
Yeah.
And I really like that now, because he is sort of stuck with you, and he says sort of I'm stuck with the Brigadier. But you can tell there's almost, whereas last season I didn't feel there was. I felt there was genuine frustration. Maybe because he had Liz that was his equal. Now, in that sense, now there's no equal, but he's got someone in Jo that works with the Doctor's compassionate side, or lack of, because the Doctor does have some form of compassion. And I find that when he's with more compassionate characters, it makes him more compassionate.
Yeah, well, Jo is so different. She is that secretary type character, and the Doctor doesn't sort of suffer fools. So when he's up against these scientist people or these ministry people or anything, or if he's visiting, in the prison or something, and then Jo's there to sort of calm things down, and she might talk to someone and have a word. She's much different to Liz in that way. She's not useless. She's not like the useless. Yeah, very much a bit like Vicky in that, intelligent, but still so the Doctor can explain stuff to her.
Yeah.
I still don't like the way, in terms of the Doctor. Okay, I can't help it. I just can't help being, not negative, but with the third Doctor, I don't know. I feel like I was much more positive in the 60s. It's just taken me still this time to get used to this Doctor and this. I still feel like he's a bit. I don't like it when he talks down, or shut up, Jo, or don't be so stupid, or stuff like that. When he to her, when it's to other people, it's fine. But when it's to her, I don't know. I just don't like that side.
I know it's really
Doctor.
far ahead, but let's just talk about the coffee cup scene.
Okay, right. The last scene that was a very good example. It's hilarious because Jo's upset that Barnum is died at the end
and was left, and she says
she's like, oh,
we shouldn't have left him.
Yeah,
and then he goes, "How do you think I feel?"
Yeah,
and she goes, "Oh, sorry."
Yes, I know, Joan. I know.
You should never have left him there.
How do you think I feel?
Sorry.
Yeah. Have some coffee.
As if his feelings are different somehow.
She has to apologise.
So he's as if, oh, well, I obviously feel it more. Why would you feel it more? Joe spent more time with him, if anything. Joe was the one looking after him. Of course she's upset. And then he goes to give her the coffee cup. Here, have a coffee. And then goes to hand it her. And then as she's reaching for it, moves it out the way and puts it on the table. So she has to reach over. We were pissing ourselves at that. We were like,
he's like, drink your coffee. No, like, ew.
What a bitch move. It's like, here, have your coffee. Oh, gotta move for it.
Exactly. I don't know why. I just don't like that side. And he's been caring, but just
it's weird.
It is. It's weird, isn't it? That's the side that I don't like. There are lots of sides of the Third Doctor I do like.
Yeah.
I just haven't really seen it all yet. I mean, he was so much more charming in Spearhead from Space to like now, and he's very settled, and he's got his job, and how long he's been working for Unit, I don't know. So maybe he's got that relationship with everyone, but still,
he feels a little bit calmer now. Whereas like the first
sorry, I've got a poster of the Third Doctor, Joe, the Master, and the Brigadier. Right, so there's a massive picture of John Pertwee just to the side of Sarah, and I'm talking when I'm talking about the Third Doctor. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at this picture of John Pertwee pointing at me. I can't help looking over at him.
He's pointing at me right now.
I can't help it. I was literally just talking to those guys on the wall. I'm so sorry.
But you, on the other hand, and you.
Yeah. Sorry, carry on. Sorry.
When I think of like the last season with him. He was a lot more angsty, a lot more like, I've got to get off here. He's a lot more resigned to the fact that he's here, that he's working, that this is what it is right now.
Well, because he's off on, again, it starts off straight at the prison. The Doctor and Joe go off to see this demonstration of the Keller Machine. They're doing that. The Brigadier's got his other story going on with the World Peace Conference.
Of course.
So, you're setting up. And I think viewers are used to that by now, a season and a half in. This is how it is. I mean, it was just like that for the Silurians even.
Yeah.
Straight ahead. Off he goes to visit something or he's in the middle of something.
Yeah.
So that's the format. And I do like that. I'm used to that now. I don't mind the Earth stuff now.
No, same. And I feel it's because he's accepted it rather than the last one, which was constant. And I don't even miss a TARDIS.
Well, no, because before he was always trying to fix the TARDIS and be like, I need to get this done. I want to go as soon as possible.
Or he'd be talking about it.
We don't have any of that, no.
No.
Okay, there was a little bit last in Autons, wasn't there, with the circuit and stuff. But I suppose he knows now that the Master's there and and the Master's going to turn up at some point, so he might as well just wait around. Interesting setting, the prison. The idea, actually, again, this is Doctor Who doing stuff in the 70s. So the Keller Machine is designed to sort of get rid of like evil impulses and, sort of rehabilitate prisoners. And it does remind me, right, so I was having this conversation at work with someone, right?
Of course, go on.
We'll talk about like true crime and stuff. So and I'm going to ask you this question now. So if you had the opportunity to sit and talk with a serial killer, would you have that? Would you do that or not?
Depends who. And I don't know why, and I don't know what difference that makes.
Fine, okay.
But like, there's some where I just think it just repulses me. No. But then there's a
fascination. There's isn't there?
Yeah, there's like a how do you work?
Yeah.
But also, I think maybe part of that is like I also wouldn't want to encourage that. Like, and
well, then we got onto like thinking about, can you rehabilitate people like that? Like, this is a really, this concept is really interesting.
Well,
can you do that?
You say that. So I've recently been watching on Netflix Girls Incarcerated. Okay, right. Which I highly recommend. It's like an emotional roller coaster. And the law there basically is if you're in juvenile, you don't get a record as such, but you have to go to juvie, and you're not given a sentence. You're not said like, okay, you're in here for 9 months. You have to do a program. Okay. And then basically once you've completed the program and they feel that you tick all things, then you can leave. So you might only be in for like 4 months. You could be in for like a year. You know, basically, you've got to do the program. The program involves like education, so you're working towards getting like your high school diplomas and stuff like that. And they have like an 80% success rate, and it is amazing. And you know, usually the people that are in there, now this is also a much milder case in that, you know, these usually like they haven't murdered people, is what I'm trying to say. They've done things, but they haven't murdered people. But it's really interesting because a lot of these girls that are in there, you know, some have been abused, some have drug problems and stuff, and usually they have to try and get them off the drugs as well and things. And then usually they leave and they're going back into their situations that they came from, of course. So it's not like, you know, they have to go back home, and it's usually home where they've been around the wrong people or things that, you know, that's the situation. It's fascinating, but it has a very high success rate. And you see these girls and they're completely like, they're like not transformed, but they're like, their lives are changed from it. And I think like this idea of you go and you're not going to have this criminal record for life, and people are going to give you time, and they have counselling every day, and they work on them to become people, like good people. And, you know, usually it's reasons why they've been in there. Now that I find fascinating. I highly, highly recommend it. It's on my like highly recommended list. Girls Incarcerated. Now, people that kill usually, not always, but usually are like might have some sort of disorder. Yeah. And that's a very different thing.
It is, yeah.
That's a very different thing to like doing a crime and going through a rehabilitation program.
That's the thing. Like the Girls Incarcerated, if you had the Keller Machine and said to them, this will take out your antisocial behaviour and your thing, you're great, but you're going back into an environment...
Yeah, that's just going to like...
That's not going to help. That's not necessarily... There needs to be other steps.
Because the reality is these girls, when they leave, they're clean. They're not on drugs, they're clean, all that. But... You know, situations can be, you know, maybe not home, but they could have been around other family members. Like, it's fascinating. And
but then this is the thing with, this is like serial killers and the death penalty and stuff like that, is can you rehabilitate? And, you know, a lot of the time, okay, so there was a story on my favourite murder podcast, because I always listen to that. So there's this guy, he killed these girls... Went out murdered like 2 girls, and it was one of the first cases where they used DNA, put him away. A lot of the time, these sentences aren't enough. There's only like a certain amount the law can do, which is ridiculous. Yeah, like, he gets like however many years,
35,
plus
40 years,
parole for good behaviour and all this stuff.
Yeah,
and you know the medical people, they evaluate them, and then they say, look, he will do this again if you let him out. There needs to be a and often there isn't a program, and good behaviour, okay, you're going to stay and do what you're told in there because you want to get out. Once you get out, though, you're going to do it again, and this is what happens. And this guy, like, he's out there. He has day trips to Bristol and Cardiff. He's on a day thing where they can go out and come back. But at the end of the day, you killed 2 people. Yeah. Like, how can you ever be rehabilitated? I mean, something like the Keller Machine, where you take everything, like Barnham, was like completely like childlike. That's like really extreme. You're like taking on. It's like a sort of. I mean, I think some of this was inspired by like Clockwork Orange style. Yeah. You know, you can see the influence there. But it's an interesting subject. Can you actually do that? And this was funny. When I went to jury service, right?
Of course.
When I went to jury service, literally, this was the first. I walked in and I sat down and sat next to Wendy, my friend who I made, Wendy. And I was helping her with her forms because she didn't know what she was doing. I felt like I worked there after like 5 minutes. I was like, Wendy, you need to fill this form in and this form in. This is what we're all doing.
Mark was so excited for jury service.
I love jury service. And then there was this older man, he was reading the paper and he was like, I've done this like 3 times. And he went, I think they should just bring back the death penalty. And then Wendy was like, oh yeah, I think they should as well, you know, for like kiddie murders and stuff. I think they should, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, I've just sat down here the first 5 minutes. But, you know, it's a strong, there's people have so many different opinions about it, but I just think, sorry, we've gone on about the prison system too much now, but like if you murder someone, if you're like a serial killer or something, I think you need to stay inside. I don't think you should have day trips out to shopping in Cardiff and stuff. No. But then what happens is people just have like a few drugs or whatever they're made an example of, kept in prison for years and years and years, ruins their life, and then they're like, oh, we've got to let these serial killers out on good behaviour because we haven't got enough room in all the prisons.
Yeah.
And then they will go out and do it again. There's so many stories. I listen to so many crime podcasts.
Of course you do.
Where they're let out for good behaviour and they go off and kill someone again.
Yeah.
But then the prisons don't want them because they're too much. And it's just ridiculous.
And the thing is, when the trouble is coming out of prison, you're in there for, I don't know, however long, 5-6 years. That's all you know.
Yeah.
Society's changed so much in 5-6 years. And what you're coming out to, is everything again. You have to sort of this is why people end up back in prison. Because it's like, well, I know it.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
and they just end up, there's no there's not things in place for people getting back into society. I'm off the death penalty in the sense...
I didn't say I was, but...
No. I'm just saying I'm not, because sometimes people can be
Like that you have to be really...
really
sure in a way, I suppose.
Yeah,
you know what
because
I mean?
this... But didn't they put someone... They said this person did it. They went to prison.
That happens all the time.
They went to prison. They went through the court. They went through, guilty.
Yeah.
They went to court. And then it turns out that they absolutely didn't.
No.
Now, can you imagine if they'd have killed that person?
Exactly,
okay, you killed someone, death penalty.
Exactly. Yeah. It's
it does sometimes happen. And I think for those cases...
You can't really...
You just can't.
I bet you someone's working on something like that.
I just don't know if I believe in that.
But I don't know. Yeah, again, that is, you're changing that person.
Another side of that, though, maybe that person wants to change.
Yeah, if it's a choice.
I think if it's a choice, that's a very different thing.
But the thing is, though, in here, they're bringing these prisoners in. I mean, Barnham, we see him after the Keller Machine.
I want to know what Barnham did.
I want to know what Barnam did. I mean, I don't think Barnum is a serial killer. I don't think so. I think it's very...
Barnum's probably just like a petty criminal.
Yeah, but we've just seen we haven't seen the criminal real Barnum. We've seen the child after Machine Barnum. So that's really interesting, isn't it? And he's a sympathetic character because but actually, he could have been a murderer.
Do you know what? It's weird that we just don't know what he did.
If Joe brought him that food at the end, or made him a coffee or whatever, and she brought him some chocolates.
Yeah.
What if you said to Joe, "Oh, by the way, he is a triple murderer or something like that," would she be like, still have that? That's interesting, isn't it? Would that character still... I don't know.
It's weird that we have no idea what he did.
No, I mean they're not going to say it.
No, of course they're not. But they could have just said he was a petty criminal.
Yeah.
And we're taking away his urges to rob. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it probably is knowing 70s Doctor Who. Yeah, but
I wondered whether he was going to be more of a... I don't know, because he was the last one, wasn't he? I thought it was going to be something where, because he was the last one, he was going to end up turning and being evil. They'd taken it away and then it would go back, something like that. That was the plan of the machine, the 113th person, that thing, But, no, it didn't.
No. And actually, the actor that plays him is in George and Mildred the movie, if anyone wants to. That's where I recognised him from.
I recognised him from something as well.
He's in another Doctor Who as well, but I think he's in around... quite a few films and stuff in the 70s.
I recognised his face.
George and Mildred the movie is not a good movie, unfortunately. It's pretty bad.
And we'll leave that there.
George, you're about as much fun as a wet weekend in High Wycombe. Look, Truffles, there's Anne. Anyway, that's all I can quote.
That's probably more than most people can.
Nimble Fingers, part 136. Knit yourself a glamorous evening gown. That's what it said.
I kind of want to watch it now.
Anyway.
But you've listened to me before. You've made something sound really interesting.
I know, it's terrible. No, it's a bad film.
Is it like Name of the Rose?
Oh, it's completely different. No, it's just a really bad comedy film, but I love the series.
Just for our listeners, Mark convinced me to watch Name of the Rose because he was like, well, Sean Connery is a detective monk. I was like, oh, that sounds interesting.
Sean Connery is a detective monk, yeah.
But he made it sound really intriguing and interesting. And it was so fucking boring. I was like, what am I watching? What has he got me doing?
Right, let's get back to the Mind of Evil. We've well gone off track. As I say, it's a really good concept, and then you have this mysterious death that this machine then suddenly... Do you remember the guy who's drowned?
Anything in his medical history?
Yes, I called his hospital. He suffered from a fear of certain animals.
No? Which ones?
Apparently in the laboratory. He was absolutely terrified of
rats.
got done by rats and stuff because it brings out like your greatest fear basically and then turns it against you and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. If the Keller Machine got you, what would you see?
I genuinely don't know.
I would either see dead birds or balloons. Or would I'd be like killed
so
by
true.
dead birds or
That
I don't
is
know why
so
balloons,
true.
I'm a bit better with balloons, but
No, you're not.
I don't know.
Mark,
Yeah,
if
I
there's
would
a
see
balloon in the
balloons.
room, you do not like it.
Yeah, I would see balloons. But did you see what the doctor saw?
He saw...
So random.
He saw Daleks.
There was a Dalek voice. You could see a war machine.
Yeah.
You could see a Zarbi.
And you could see a Cyberman, couldn't you?
I think so. There was loads. Yeah,
There was loads.
So that was funny. The Dalek voice was a bit off. I thought we haven't had a Dalek since like Evil of the Daleks.
Long Mate Rain.
And I thought it was really scary when the Master saw the Doctor like laughing. You know, like a big. They were sort of like super. That was really scary. The way it was lit made him look really evil. It was like that creeped me out.
I'm trying to think. What would it be? What do I get really scared of?
Like I mean, like a room of dead birds that I've got to walk across, or actually a room of
Birds,
balloons.
generally. I'm not
Birds.
great
You'd
with
be like,
birds.
You'd be like, no. I'd be like,
I've been told
she's
not to
been
watch the
scratched by
birds.
I love the birds.
No, I've been told not
have
to
you not
watch it.
seen it?
No.
It's one of my favourite films.
I know. I've been told not to because I'm not great with birds. Years ago, I was a teenager. I'm sure I've said this story, so sorry. My friend came over to get a football from my house, and it was in the garage. And our house has like a weird vacuum, so if you don't lock the garage door, if you open any door in the house, it will open. So I opened the garage door, found the football, and was like, oh, should we check if it needs pumping up? And I bounced it, and out of nowhere, this giant blackbird appeared, went nuts. And we like ran out the garage. I shut my friend in by accident, got him out, shut it. Shut the door. I just shut it, and we were like, shit. Oh, where did that come from? This giant blackbird. Cue like 40 minutes later, we open a door in the house. Hadn't locked the garage door, had I? Just shut it. So the garage door opens, blackbird gets in the house and is going absolutely bonkers in our house. Like it just went nuts and it's just attacking us and it's going crazy. Mum was like, ring your dad, go ring your dad. And we were in there with the dog. And so I managed to run through, dive bombing bird at me. And I was running this full line, shut the door behind me. And I rang my dad on the house phone. And all I could hear in the background was my mum like, ah, Molly, that's the dog. Molly, save Molly, ah. And I could not stop laughing because I'm safe now. I'm not in the room with the bird. I went nuts. And so by the time my dad answered the phone, I'm up. And all I could get out was, Dad, bird, attacking Mum. And the dog, come home. like literally through like bits of laughter. It's all I could get out. And he was just at a friend's house. He just went, okay, I don't know what you're going on about. I'll see you home in an hour. And I can't go. And she was like, where is he? Ah! And I was like, he's not coming. And so then we managed to like get the doors open to the garden and just leave him. She managed to get in. And eventually it got out. But it was absolute carnage. And so I remember going to like bird parks as a kid, absolutely fine. But since then, I've like, and especially in Cardiff, because the seagulls are about the size of like small dogs. Yeah. So I will just, I'm not a great fan. Little birds, I'm fine. Yeah. But like, if they're a bit bigger. Bird,
yeah. I mean, I'm probably worse now. Like dead birds is I don't know why.
I know why.
But I had a trauma. Shall I tell you I'll tell everyone my lockdown trauma. This was right at the beginning of lockdown. Oh, like the first time, actually, it was when I was actually going back to work the first time. I've been in for however many months or whatever. I'm going out. And so I've got the front door of the flat and then there's like the actual front door outside. And the letterbox, it's just a hole, sort of like, it's like an old fashioned door. So there's no flap or anything. So there's like a sort of airlock bit between the front door and everything. So I opened my flat door and there was a sparrow that obviously got through the letterbox and was just in this sort of airlock bit. Really made me jump. So I opened the door, I saw it, and then I saw my cat running and I thought, oh no, the cat's going to get the bird. There's this bird flying around. I don't want it to get in the flat. So I just slammed the front door back and I was like, right, I need to deal with it. And unfortunately... when I slammed the door, I accidentally slammed the sparrow's head in the door and crushed it.
It's not funny.
And I screamed and ran away. And I was like, oh my God. And I came back and there's just this dead. I like it, just the timing. The moment I slammed the door was the moment it came towards me and it just, blam. I just got it. I just got its neck. It was so traumatic. It was horrible.
I know.
It was absolutely horrible. I just screamed and ran away. I killed a sparrow. I need the Keller Machine.
It's not funny.
Do the Keller Machine on me to get rid of that
I remember
trauma.
you telling me this.
It was horrible.
And I could not stop laughing.
I feel so bad.
Because, it was an accident, Mark. Okay, you didn't purposely go out and kill a bird.
Right. Okay, right. Now we've relived our traumas.
Thanks, Mark.
Sorry, everyone. So the World Peace Conference is happening. And we've got Chin Lee. She's acting suspiciously.
Yes, Captain Chin Lee, what can I do for you?
Brigadier, an outrage has been committed against the Chinese People's Delegation. As you are in charge of security arrangements, we hold you directly responsible.
Yeah, she's quite a good character, and because she's like having to go at the Brigadier for stuff, and the Brigadier's like, oh, it's interesting that unit here now, apart from being instead of being sort of an X-Files thing, they're just like World Peace Conference organisers for some reason.
Yeah, of course.
She's working for the Master.
Yeah, that was a good reveal, actually, because I was expecting him back soon, but even when he came, I was like, ooh. So, yeah.
And the filming is really good, because she's saying that these documents are like stolen or whatever, but she's got them, and she's burning them in a bin in a park full of kids. Did you notice how many kids are in that park? And they go back later on, the doctor, I think, walks past. It's just full of all these kids just running around. Why would you, literally
Half-term?
broad daylight. Yeah, it must have been half term. Broad daylight, burn all your documents in a bin in front of all the children. I just thought it was really odd. But it looked cool, though.
There are many things odd about this episode, though.
And when Benton is sent to follow her, I didn't really get the connection with the Keller Machine, because it turns out she helped set it up or something under hypnotism, I guess. Hypnosis. She sort of knocks him out, and he loses her, and there's all of that. And it's it reminded me a lot of Ambassadors of Death. This one, the sort of James Bond moments, a little bit.
Yeah, early it did. As it went on, it didn't.
Well, then you have... Yeah, okay, a little bit later on with the missile, and then in Ambassadors you had the space shuttle. Do you know...
Maybe because I did it in chunks, this felt like very... We'll put it this way, when the driver came back, and I went... He was in the first story, Mark was like, no, he wasn't. Oh, wait, yeah, this story's been that long.
So I'll just go through three other notes that I've got. Just talking about Chin Lee. Yates is up to his old tricks again. He calls her... a bit of a dolly. He says to the Brigadier, oh, Yates, please. And the Chinese delegate gets killed, and the dragon isn't possibly the greatest moment, is it?
No.
When did I say? I was like, have you been watching Mind of Evil? And you were like, yeah, I'm up to episode 3. And I was like, oh yeah, with the dragon. You were like, what dragon?
I can't even remember it, so it wasn't great.
So the doctor is asked to come back and investigate. So we've got these mysterious deaths and the peace conference, and it's not always sort of clear how they connect.
No.
But you need that in a 6-part story.
I really like the scene where the Brigadier and the doctor go to the Chinese delegate, and the doctor knows Chinese.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Of course he does.
That.
Of course he does.
And he's like... he's proper impressed. And the doctor's just like, and the Brigadier's just sat there like, oh, great. I love that.
Jo stays at the prison while the doctor comes back to help the Brigadier. We have Corporal Bell working for units. She's on the phone a lot. She makes a coffee, but she's helping out the Brigadier. Her. She's a lady in the office at the beginning. You don't remember Corporal Bell?
No, sorry.
Oh, no.
I don't.
I was all ready to add her to Women of Who.
Sorry, I don't remember at all.
You don't remember her at all?
No. I do remember the really annoying guy, though, that joined unit.
Oh, well, okay, so later on there's another guy who's not like one of the regular, not Yates or Benton. Yeah, he was a bit odd, wasn't he? This extra unit character. I was
like, why is he like talking back to the Brigadier?
He was like really disrespectful to the Brigadier. You don't do that.
I thought he was like higher up than the Brigadier, making...
No, he was just odd. I thought he was going to turn out to be a spy, or like there was going to be like fake army or something.
Yeah, it was odd.
Actually, going back to Chin Lee, so the lady that plays Chin Lee, well, one, she signed my DVD.
Is she? Open it. Oh, if I open it, sorry.
Sarah's just looking right now.
Oh, yeah.
There she is.
Mark, best wishes. Nice.
And she is also, she's been in something that we've watched before. So we watched ages and ages ago Arabian Nights.
Mark makes me watch all the best things.
There was a Channel 4 sort of year 2000 when sort of fantasy sci-fi was a bit budget and Doctor Who hadn't come back, so nobody really cared about stuff. But this was like the big sort of, it was on Easter or something.
Of course.
Arabian Nights, so it was like Aladdin, Alibaba and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And she plays Aladdin's mum in it.
I can't remember it specifically, but yes.
It was like, was it Dougray Scott as the
No, I remember it, but I don't remember specific, like, the mum.
Oh, okay. Well, so Aladdin, so anyway, she was
there.
Isn't there a bit where he makes a chocolate palace or something and it melts or something?
Something like that.
Anyway, she's really good in that as well. Anyway, so she's still going.
Still acting. Well, she was in 2000 in Arabian Nights.
2000 in Arabian. I met her, a couple of years ago, actually. So, she was really nice. And actually, you don't see her for the rest of the story. She's just sort of in the beginning, she gets dehypnotised and then she's off.
Yeah.
So you sort of have two sections of which is, like you said, keeps it going. And you said about there's not been all the unit fighting, and that was one of our things that we didn't like before. But actually, instead of all the unit fighting, you have all the prisoners fighting. So the stuntmen still get a job, they're just dressed as different people.
I didn't mind the fighting when when unit took over the prison.
Well, did you notice, like, even when all the prison riots and stuff, you just hear them, you don't really see everybody for quite a while.
Yeah.
But no, good action sequence and it's good background. Like, and I don't know if you noticed the picture in this, still a bit funny. So this was all black and white, only exists in black and white for a long time. And when the video came out, it was pretty much black and white.
Okay.
So they recolorized it for the DVD.
Oh, okay.
So all colour versions were destroyed, unfortunately.
Of course.
So not enough to rant about, unless I don't think someone would.
Are you done with your rants about this?
Yeah, well, they're not missing, are they? They just need a bit of colour, so.
Okay.
I can't really rant, can I?
No, you can't. And, you're experiencing this yourself, so.
Exactly.
Hashtag neighbours.
I don't know. I'm sure everybody is going to be like what you're talking about now, but what was the Master trying to actually do with the Keller Machine? Okay, so he wants the missile to, like, destroy Earth or something, right? Yeah. But was the Keller Machine to take over the prison so he had, like, an army of people to get the missile? Is that all it was? Yeah,
but it's odd. Why would you want a load of people that are without bad impulse? Because you surely want the bad people to do bad things with you.
Because it's this creature inside, which the Master's got from wherever, that feeds on it. So he needs to feed it to give it power.
I don't know. I wasn't sure if he was, like, supporting it somehow in exchange for something. Like, I don't know what the end goal here was.
He wouldn't have left it there, or he left it because we have a bit of a siege, don't we? And Joe's locked up with the Doctor and back and forth. You always have a bit of that, don't you?
Also, for a thing that can literally move wherever it wants, it never goes near the Doctor and Joe unless it's like
actually, the cliffhangers. I think we've got about 3 cliffhangers, which is the Keller Machine's started wobbling again.
The best one was the gun.
Episode 5, end of episode 5.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, there was a really good crossfade, really well directed, where it's the Doctor and then it goes into the Master's face.
Yes, I saw that one. I thought that was really good.
That was good.
Yeah. That was a good one.
So then with the missile, Yates gets a good bit because he goes off on the motorbike and goes and chases and has his moment. And,
I kind of forgot about him though.
Well, and then again, there's so much going on actually in this story.
Lot. Did the Brigadier have a holiday?
I don't think so.
Because he's missing in an episode. He's not in, like, episode 2, I don't think. Or 3. There's definitely one where I feel like we've had a lot of Joe and Doctor in the prison time. And I remember thinking, I don't think the Brigadier... Like, this has all been in the prison and the Brigadier's at base.
I don't know. They are pretty separate. Well, Joe is off on her own for a bit.
Yeah.
Everyone's separated.
But I feel like
there
was a long time when they were just at the prison and it was just the Doctor, Joe and all the things that were going on there. And the Brigadier wasn't in at all.
Oh, well, you can't... Yeah, maybe you just focus on the prison and then focus on the missile stuff. And
yeah, but I wondered whether he was on holiday.
No, I don't think so. We don't really have holidays anymore. Nowadays. No, it's not part of the production anymore. More helicopter, though, in this.
Yeah, you love a helicopter.
Well, so I was reading up about this on TARDIS Wiki.
Yeah.
And so...
Where are we, Mark, by the way?
Oh no! I'm sorry, everyone. I forgot the location. We're in the prison, of course we are. Been locked up.
Could have said we were on the helicopter.
I've used that helicopter sound so many times. I was reading about this, and so apparently this went way over budget, supposedly, because they booked a real helicopter, right? And so the director was like never asked to come back again because it went so over budget. But I was thinking, if it's to do with the helicopter, how many helicopters have we had? Are they all been like stock helicopters? Have they actually been helicopters where it's not gone up and we've just... Do you know what I mean? They've been on the ground.
There was one bit where they definitely weren't off ground. You know when it's that shot of like...
Jo and the Doctor looking down at the end. But you see Jo and the Doctor get in and go up. So maybe that was the expensive shot that went over budget. So they actually... Because I think before, you know, like Enemy of the World and stuff, maybe they've just been on the ground pretending and not... Maybe it's cheaper to just make it spin on the ground and then go up.
Well, we wouldn't have to pay for
Fury from the Deep. I don't know. I just feel like you've done helicopters so much... Like, if that's your problem, then...
That's your limit. That said, though, for that one, the one you just mentioned...
Enemy of the World?
Enemy of the World, you weren't paying for the other actor. Because it was Patrick Troughton.
Oh, yeah, so they saved on Patrick Troughton so they could afford a real helicopter.
Yeah.
But here, they couldn't. Maybe.
You weren't paying...
Got more.
Because it was a long episode.
Actually, I don't know. I mean, you've got
It was a longer episode, but Patrick Troughton was the... hero and anti-hero of the story, so that helped.
Maybe that was it. This was really, really good. I think we've gone through sort of like the main points. Any other sort of points that stood out for you?
No, I mean, I enjoy. It wasn't in my top, but I did enjoy it. Like, I'm not going to watch it again.
Don't you say that about all of them?
No, I don't, because, like, you know, it's not a Keys and Marinus, do you know what I mean?
No, not Keys and Marinus. And I still feel like...
Is it too much if we don't mention Keys and Marinus? I feel that hasn't come up for a while.
I think the problem that maybe we've got is, you got the unit people, you've got like Benton and Yates and Corporal Bell, possibly, if you remember her, and the Master, but we don't have our sort of, you know, Barnum, and then you always have... There's like, I mean, I can't even remember the prison warden's name or that doctor. The doctor. They're not ones that really are like, oh, we really want to talk about them because they're like really interesting. Yeah. Okay, you got like Chin Lee. Yeah. But she's only in a few episodes. Yeah. She's not like, hasn't made that impact that others have. No. We haven't had an impact, and we didn't last time really. No. So I think that's the element that's missing for me at the moment.
I mean, if we didn't have the Master and we were just going off that machine, this would be an incredibly boring
and it's
story.
not an interesting prop.
No. I said it kind of reminded me of a Dalek, like a really mini Dalek. It had like
Chumbly?
No, because Chumblies are lovely. But like it was the same sort of like oblongy shape, and it had a thing on the front of it.
It's really odd because they must have... I don't know when they designed it, because he's got to pick it up at the end. Barnum's got to pick it up and take it. It's a bit cumbersome to do that. But it's got to be big enough to be a threat. But also, I didn't really like the wibbly-wobbly effect where the whole picture just sort of went... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was odd.
I feel like they could have designed something
that threatening.
a little bit.
It's a thing. I didn't feel it was that threatening.
Because actually you saw... Okay, it was really interesting at the beginning with the rats and the drowning. You're like, oh, okay. And then when the Doctor sees something and the Master... But then later on, they don't even bother with that. You don't see... No. You know, what is Joe seeing when it's attacking them? What are the things... Like, and the dragon is a bit of an odd... random thing to have a dragon walking around suddenly. It gets you interested at the beginning of the story, but by the end, they've sort of forgotten about that, and they're like, oh, let's just make it wibbly-wobbly, and they collapse. If
that was just a story, and it was about, like, you know, stopping this thing from existing, or I don't know, and then, like, I don't know, but, like, the Master makes it.
Yeah, definitely. And he's not in it so much. I mean, he gets away, and he gets away at the end. He runs over Barnum.
That was sad.
I think Barnum is the sympathetic character of this for me this time. And I mean, he's in the beginning and the end again.
He's the side character I remember the most from it.
And also, I keep thinking of the guy who's the Greatest Show.
You think of Hugh Jackman, do you?
No, is it though in the real life? Is it P.T. Barnum?
Yeah, but isn't the Greatest Showman based on Barnum?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When you say Barnum, I think of Greatest Show. Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. Great. I mean, that's all I can think of, really. It's fine. It's not in my top. It's not in my bottom.
I think people like it. I think fans enjoy it and appreciate it.
I enjoyed it. The Master's great. I enjoyed it for the Master.
Okay. Would you like to see the Master back?
Yes.
Next time again?
Yeah, I think like he's really making this season. So
It's definitely changed the dynamic. It's definitely...
it's sort of like given the Doctor a real equal.
Well, the next story is called The Claws of Axos.
Oh, okay.
And it's 4 episodes.
Okay, cool. Great.
What are your predictions? What would you like?
Predictions. It's going to be on Earth. I wonder whether it'll be near sea. Maybe near sea.
Near the sea, okay. Near the sea. Well, let's hope for the sea next time.
Yeah.
I was going to say about when I met Yates and Benton and Joe and everyone. I'll do that next time. I'll save that next time. We've got plenty of time, but we'll do some more stories next time. We talked about prisoners and serial killers too much this week.
Yeah, some editing to do there.
And hopefully, well, we'll see if we're together. Oh, we should be together recording next time as well.
Together forever. Yeah.
Hopefully our schedules will calm down again.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we will see you next week for the Claws of Axos. You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 2WatchWho. Get in touch. What would you see if the Keller Machine came and got you? Let us know. Let's have a discussion about
Let's
it.
all share our
Let's
fears.
share our fears. Why not? And you can support us at buymeacoffee.com/2watchwho.
Great.
Great. I just want to do a bit of an ending. No.
Okay. No, you do it. You didn't do your intro.
What should we do?
I don't know, love.
Well, okay, we better get out of the prison then.
Yeah.
But avoid the Keller Machine.
Yeah, unless it finds us.
Yeah, unless it won't. Let's go. Let's go. Go, go, go. Bye.
Bye.
To Watch Who.